Hi everyone, it's Sunday, June 16th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. Starting with the United States, this week sellers were again able to hold prices steady on most steer selections. There were gains of about $1 on some, but no sources were ready to call it a better market. Some packers said they sold a lot of hides this week, while other sellers didn't have such a rosy report to share. With regard to steers, heavy Texas were stable, trading in a range from $20 to $22 for 62-64 pound averages. Not surprisingly, the cow sector continues to struggle under poor interest and very few bids. The only types that continue to move are the dairy cows. Slaughter in the U.S. for the week was higher than last week. It was 665,000. The export sales report is back to being a disappointment, with slaughter well above sales and shipments again. Combined raw and wet blue sales were just 521,900, and shipments were just 475,200. Again, it looks like the U.S. is making little progress toward lessening the growing supplies that are available. In our market observations this week, we take a look at the leveling off of prices and why that might be short-lived, according to some conversations with various people throughout the industry. From Brazil, editor Ronald Guiel reports that the market situation is about the worst he has seen. Fresh hide prices remain stable, but he reports that there is no longer a reference price for trading TR1 globally, and sales this week were concluded at 50 cents a square foot. Currency fluctuations are still causing problems for sellers, while slaughter may be back on the rise since China did lift its temporary suspension of Brazilian beef exports this week. In Argentina, some hides saw declines because of poor demand this week. And in news items, Brazil reported that hides and skins exports for May were up 5.6% in value over last May and up 1.3% compared to April this year. With regard to the total in square meters, the total exported in May was 31% higher than May last year, and for 2019 through May, it was 3.6% higher than the same period last year. So any improvement is really good. We also have a report on the surge in Brazilian footwear imports to the U.S. this year, as well as more news from the various fairs being held. From elsewhere in Latin America, we have news about Colombia's cattle slaughter, leather industry data from the CICUR in Mexico, Peru's efforts to strengthen its footwear sector, and more details on Zenda's tannery closures in Uruguay. Turning to Europe, our editor Andrea Guolo reports that UK ox saw little trading this week, with prices at 85 pence per kilo for the 36 plus and 90 pence per kilo for the 31 to 35 kilo category. Little trading was also seen in bulls this week in Europe as well, and he says that standard veal skins are still seeing a tough market compared to the high end of the market. In his analysis this week, Andrea takes a look at the results of Pitti Uomo, the men's fashion fair that took place in Florence. He noticed some changes in the footwear offerings with regard to leather, which he details, along with what's driving those changes. In the tannery sector, Andrea discusses the fact that only quality is selling right now and how the effects of that are having an effect on the activities of tanneries. So that's all we have for today. Until next week, good night from HideNet.